class, we are going to see the Nehru jacket or a Nehru vest. It's an Indian traditional wear. So, the jacket of Indian, the first Nehru has worn a jacket with the Mandarin collar and with the hip level, and it has the chest pocket and the hip pocket. It has two hip pocket and the chest pocket. Usually, it was being fitted jacket and long in length. This fabric can be the silk, brocade or tussar silk, etc. This jacket can be worn on juba or shirt and trouser, churidar kurta, everything. So it's an Indian traditional wear. Now we are going to see how we are going to draft the Nehru jacket. Now we are going to draft the Nehru jacket. To draw the Nehru jacket, we need measurements. The measurements are full length. The measurements full length can be decided from the high point shoulder to below the hip level. And then we should take the measurement of natural waist length and chest round, waist round, hip round, across back and neck round. Sometimes the shoulders will also be taken. The measurements are full length 25.5 inch, natural waist length 17 inch, chest circumference 36.5, waist round 32, hip round 38, across back 15 inch, neck round 15 inch. Now you are going to draw. First, draw a perpendicular line for the shoulder and for the center back. Mark 0. This is the starting point, and should mark the length from 0, the total length as 25.5 inch. This line is center back line. Now we should mark all the other reference lines like chest line, waist line and hip line. Chest line will be 1/4 of chest plus 1 inch. 36.5 by 4 is equal to 9 1/8 plus 1 is equal to 10 1/8. And draw a horizontal line . This is the chest line. And mark the natural waist length from 0.17 inch. And draw the waistline. And mark 8 inches below is hip line. So the level is actually the hip level, and draw the bottom line. This line is the waistline, and this is hip line. This line is shoulder line. So 0 to 1 is length and 0 to 2 is chest line, that is 1/4 chest plus 1 inch, and 0 to 3 is natural waist length. Now this mid of shoulder to chest, and this is the across back line. Mark 4. And 5 is again mid of this. This is to find the shoulder slope. So this mark is 5. Then 4 to 6 is off across back. Across back is 15 inch. Off across back is 7.5 inch. And draw, square out the line up and down. Seven, square up to 8 and square down to 9. And this point is 10. 10 to 11 is 1 inch and go away by 1 inch. So 11 to 12 is also 1 inch. And again draw a perpendicular line . Then draw the back neck. Back neck is neck 1/5 of neck minus 1/8 of an inch. Neck is 15, 1/5 of neck is 3 inches minus 1/8, 2 7/8 inches. Mark the point is 13. 13 to 14 is 1 inch. Draw the perpendicular line and join 11 and 12 as the shoulder. And have to draw the back neck . From 14 to 0. Now chest level, we should mark chest by 4 plus 1 to 1.5 an inch. When you want very fitted jacket, it can be 1 inch. When you want little bit of a loose, because when you are wearing on a kurta, loose kurta, the jacket should also be little loose. So in that case, we can add 1.5 an inch. 1/4 of chest is 9 1/8 plus 1.5 is 10 5/8. Or else we can give 9 1/8 plus 1/8 is 10 1/8 fitted jacket. And the waist is and the waist should also be waist by 4 plus 1 inch. Waist measurement is 32 inches. 32 divided by 4 is 8. 8 plus 1, 9 inch. And the hip line is 38. 38 by 4 is 9.5 plus 1 is 10.5. Now you should join the side seam with a hip curve from chest to waist as an inward curve, and then from waist to hip as an outward curve. We should draw the hip curve with the outward curve and join the armhole from 12 to 7 . Then draw the armhole continuously from and 2 to 12 is chest by 4 plus 1 inch, 3 to 15 is waist by 4 plus 1 inch, 1 to 16 is hip by 4 plus 1 inch. We have taken the side seam also. This is for the back, and the back should have fold. Center back should be on fold, center back, and then we should draw the grain line parallel to the center back. So we made the block, but when you wanted to cut and sew, we should provide seam allowance overall and the hem allowance also. Allow the seam allowance and hem allowance. The hem allowance at the bottom will be 1.5 inch. One and a half an inch to 2 inch. When you want the hem width as 1 inch, we should allow 1.5 inch. If the hem width is 2 inch, 1.5 inch, it has to be 2 inch. Now we are allowing 1.5 inch as the hem width as 1 inch. So draw straight line for the hem. Then we should allow 3/8 of an inch seam allowance at neckline, and shoulder 1/2 inch, armhole 3/8 of an inch, side seam can be provided with 1 inch allowance for the further alteration, because we have taken a fitted, we left around 1 inch for the ease. If you wanted to do the further alteration, the side seam allowance can be 1 inch. So as the same, the seam allowance should also be parallel to the side seam as an inward curve and the outward curve. The shoulder is 1/2 inch seam allowance. The neckline 3/8 of an inch. So these are the allowance as the side seam allowance And this is the hem allowance. And these are the neck allowance and shoulder allowance and armhole allowance. This is for the back. I can explain once again shortly that we are starting from the 0 point and we are marking the length, total length, that is little below the hip level, is 25.5 inch. And then draw the center back line and mark the natural waist length from 0 to 3 as natural waist length. And 0 to 2 is the chest line, is 1/4 of the chest plus 1 inch. Because the armhole has to be little deeper than the first garment. The shirt or a kurta will be the first garment and this jacket is going to be the second garment on top of the first garment. It's the second layering garment. So this armhole has to be little deeper and wider than the first garment. So the armhole has been taken 1/4 of the chest plus 1 inch. Then only the armhole will be 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch deeper than actual the shirt or the first garment. And 4 is mid of 0 to 2 to mark the across back measurement. And 5 is to derive the shoulder level. Again mark the mid of 4 to 0 as 5. And draw all the horizontal balance line as across back line, chest line, waistline, hip line or bottom line. Then we should derive the shoulder, mark the across back on the across back line. It's off across back. And square it up till 8 and 9 and mark the points which the line of 5 is intersecting as 10 and 10 to 11 as 1 inch up and 11 to 12 is 1 inch towards side. Now we are going to mark the neck measurement. Again this bangala will have a little closer neck but it is not as close as the first garment. So we should provide little loose at the neckline but it should fit as close to the neck. So 0 to 13 is neck by 5 minus 1/8 of an inch. Then square it up for 1 inch. Draw the neck from 14 to 0 and join 14 to 12 as the shoulder. And then draw, before that we should mark the chest measurement, waist measurement, hip measurement. The chest measurement is chest by 4 plus 1 inch. That means it has 4 inch loose all around the body. We are providing 1 inch for the quarter portion. So 4 inch loose will be sufficient for the fitted garment. When you wanted to make it as little loose, this allowance can be 6 inch around the body. Then the allowance will be 1.5 inch as ease. So we are providing for the close fit as chest by 4 plus 1 inch in the chest line and waist by 4 plus 1 inch at the waistline and hip by 4 plus 1 inch at the hip line. Now we should draw the side seam line by joining 14, 15, 16. 14, 15 should be inward curve and 15, 16 should be outward curve as to match with the body shape. Then actually this is the basic block which fit for the body, but we should allow allowance when you wanted to sew. Now we are creating this as a production pattern by allowing seam allowance all around. In that also the seam allowance and the hem allowance will vary according to the place. The hem allowance at the bottom been taken by 1.5 inch when the width of the hem is 1 inch. So 1 plus half, 1.5 should be marked for the hem allowance at the bottom. And for the side seam, we are providing 1 inch for the further alteration when it is a custom made. Then we should provide the neck allowance as 3/8 of an inch, armhole allowance as 3/8 of an inch, and the shoulder allowance as half an inch. Mark the outline and draw the production pattern. Then our center back should be on fold. Back will be one piece and the grain line should be parallel to the center back. And the size is 36 small size, and cut number is 1, and the part name is back. This is the back part, size 36 small and cut number 1. Now the back is completed. Now we are going to draw the front for the Nehru jacket. Draw the shoulder line and the center front line. The measurements on the basic lines are the same as the back. First we are going to start from the shoulder, from 17 to bottom line is 25.5 is the total length. (17 to 19) is natural waist length. And 17 to 20 is chest by 4 plus 1 inch. And draw all the basic lines. Bottom line, waistline, chest line. Now, first we should mark 20 to 21 as chest by 4 plus 1 inch, 10 1/8, 19 to 22 is waist by 4 plus 1 inch. And 18 to 23 is hip by 4 plus 1 inch. Now join the side shape as 21 to 22 is an inward curve as back, and then 22 to 23 is an outward curve to get the shape. You can blend the side shape. Now mark 1 inch from 17, 24 and draw curve from 24 to 20. Now the center front is being curved. The center front till the chest line is straight, then from the chest line to neckline it has been changed as a curve. Now we should mark the across shoulder and mark 2 inch below and draw a straight parallel line to the shoulder. Now measure the shoulder measurement of the back. Measure the shoulder measurement of the back. It is 6 1/4 and mark the same measurement as shoulder. Before that we should draw the neckline of the front. Front neck is 1/5 of neck minus 1/4 inch. Then mark 6 1/4 inch here. So the shoulder 24 to 25 is 1/5 of neck minus 1/4 and 25 to 26 is the shoulder measurement of the back. So we derive the shoulder. Again we can mark the across front or across back at here as 15 inch and then square it up across back measurement. This is AB by 2, across back by 2 and square it up by 1 inch as straight. And join 26 and 28 and mark the middle of it. And take three by 4 inches and draw the armhole curve. (29 to 30 is 3 by 4 inches as perpendicular to 29. Now we should draw the armhole by matching 26, 30 and 28. and join the armhole from 28 to 21, and 24 to 31 is 1/5 of neck plus 1/4 inch, 1/5 of neck plus 1/2 inch, 1/5 of neck plus 1/2 inch, 31, and draw the back neck, draw the front neck from 25 to 31. Now this is the center front line. You can see that the shoulder has been slightly tilted towards the side because our body won't be straight above the chest level. It will go inside. As per that, we have tilted the center front as 1 inch at the shoulder. Automatically it will give 3/4 of an inch inside. Then the neck has been designed. The shoulder has been equal to the center back. Armhole has been designed. After attaching to the back and front shoulder, this will give a proper fit of the shoulder as well as the neckline. Now we can draw the seam allowance. The hem allowance is as the same of 1.5 inch at the bottom, and at the side the seam allowance is 1 inch. And at the armhole is 3/8 of an inch. The shoulder is 1/2 inch. Neckline again 3/8 of an inch. Join the seam allowance line. Use proper tool to draw the curve. Inward and outward shape, under throwing, under the front we should allow the placket allowance. Usually it will be buttoned from the neckline till the little below the waistline. Rest of the thing will be open. So it can be, the placket allowance can be designed according to the button size. If the button size is 1 inch, we can provide the placket extension as 1 inch. If the button size is 3/4 of an inch, we can provide the same 3/4 inch or 1 inch also. It depends upon the button size and the trend and fashion. Now we are going to allow the button stand or the placket allowance as 1 inch. Now these are the allowance, the hem allowance, the hem can be trued by folding it towards up. And this is the button placement. The first button has to start 1/4 inch, or the button size is 1 inch. Then it has to start 1/2 inch below, 5/8 below from it. The first button. And we can mark 4 to 5 buttons from there. So the rest of the thing can be left open. So it can be the button size of 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch. The 5 buttons has to be marked. So this is the placket stand, button stand or a placket extension. And we can mark the pocket also. The pocket, first mark from 27 to 32 as 1 inch, then take 1/2 inch above 33 and have 1/10 of chest as the pocket open for the chest pocket. So first we can take 1/2 inch lower from 20 to 34 and take a straight line as a baseline, because this pocket should locate on this level as a diagonal way. Then 1/10 of chest measurement is 3.6 inches, and take perpendicular line for 1/2 inch and draw the pocket. This is the chest pocket. So 33 to 35 is chest by 10, and this is 35 to 36 is 1/2 inch, 33 to 37 is 1/2 inch to draw the welt pocket. And the hip pocket can be 3 inches, 3 to 3.5 inch below from the waistline. Now this measurement should be 1/8 of chest. 1/8 of chest is equal to 4.5 inch. So mark 4.5 inch. Four and a half inch, 2 1/4. Totally the pocket width should be 2 1/4. At the hemline we should extend around 3/4 of an inch. (38 and 39) should be extended as 3/4 of an inch for the front bottom alone, and join the hemline with the curve. So the seam line will also change. The seam line will also change as parallel. The hemline will also change as parallel to the extension. This has to be left before. So the bottom extension is 40 to 38 is 3/4 of an inch, and draw the line. The hem allowance can be allowed from this bottom line. This is not the bottom line. The pocket line should be parallel to the hemline. Seven and a quarter, and 7 1/4, and 7 1/4. So you should draw the basic line for the pocket. At the middle, you should take 3 1/4 inch and mark 1/8 of chest round as the pocket width. It is 4.5 inch. So I am marking around 2/4 on both sides, and this is the welt pocket. This is the hip welt pocket, and this is the chest welt pocket. Chest welt pocket should be smaller than the. So the measurement is 41 is 3 1/4 inch lower from the waistline, and from there it is 2 1/4, and mark 42 to 43 is chest by 8, and the welt width is half an inch. So we are creating the welt open like chest by 8 inches, and it should come in the middle of the waistline. Square it down and keep both the side as equal by 1/8 of chest divided by 2 has been marked. But this line should be parallel to the bottom line. We can have a short review with this, that we are going to start from the center front line and the center front line and the shoulder line. Draw a perpendicular line for this. Mark 17. 17 to 18 is the total length of 25.5 an inch. Draw a perpendicular line and write as center front line. Then 17 to 19 is natural waist length. 17 to 20 is chest by 4 plus 1 inch. And draw all the horizontal lines as bottom line, waistline, chest line, shoulder line. Now 20 to 21 is chest by 4 plus 1 inch. And 19 to 22 is waist by 4 plus 1 inch. And 18 to 23 is hip by 4 plus 1 inch. And mark 21, 22, 23 and draw the side seam line. 21 to 22 as an inward curve, 22 to 23 as outward curve. Now we should go for the shoulder and neck armhole. First 17 to 24 mark 1 inch and draw new center front line from 24 to 20 as an outward curve. 24 to 25 is 1/5 of neck minus 1/4 inch. Then 18 to 18A is 3/4 of an inch and join 18A and 23. The center front length should be 3/4 of an inch extra at the center front line. Then only the line of bottom will be parallel to the floor. And draw your horizontal line by 2 inch down from the shoulder line. Draw a horizontal line 2 inch down from the shoulder line and mark 25 to 26 as the length of back shoulder. Measure the back shoulder. The back shoulder measurement is 6 1/4. We mark 25 to 26 as 6 1/4 inch. 20 to 27 is across back by 2 and square it up by 1 inch till 28. Join 26 and 28 as straight line and mark the middle as 29. 29 to 30 is 3 by 4 inches and draw the front armhole from 26, 30, 28 and 21 to be parallel to the armhole shape. (24) to 31 is front neck. It's 1/5 of neck plus 3/8 of an inch. And draw the front neck from 25 to 31. To mark the chest pocket, we should mark 1 inch from 27 to 32 and 32 to 33 is half an inch and 20 to 34 is half an inch. Draw a guideline from 33 to 34. From 33 to 35 is chest by 10
and the width of the pocket is half an inch. So 35 to 36 is half an inch, 33 to 37 is half an inch perpendicular to the slant line, and draw the chest pocket. Now we are coming for the hip pocket. Hip pocket, you should take the middle of the waist and mark 3 1/4 inch below from the waistline as 41. 41 to 42 is 2 1/4 inch. That is, the pocket width should be chest by 8, 1/8 of chest, and it has to be divided equally from the middle. So chest by 8 is 4 1/2. I mark 2 1/4 here and 2 1/4 here to make it middle. And the pocket width can be half an inch. Draw the welt pocket, hip welt pocket. And then we should allow the seam allowance. The hem allowance has to be parallel to 18A to 23, 1 1/2 inch parallel to this. So 18A to 38 is 1 1/2 inch, and join the bottom line. Then allow 1 inch seam allowance at the side seam and 3/8 of an inch seam allowance at armhole, half an inch seam allowance at the shoulder, and 3/8 seam allowance at the neckline. We should allow the placket allowance. Placket allowance depends upon the button size. When the button's dia is 1 inch, we should extend the placket width as 1 inch. Even this dia is 3/4 of an inch, this can be 1 inch. And we should mark 1 inch from here and draw a parallel line to the 31 to 18A as the placket extension till 39. Now the first button should be marked 5/8 of an inch below, and each button end to the marking point should be 4 inches. Draw 5 buttons in the front, and rest of the thing should be left free. The front is over.
Now for the Nehru jacket, we completed the back and the front. Now we are going to start the collar. Collar is a Mandarin collar. To draw the Mandarin collar, we need the width and the neck round. Neck round has to be measured from the pattern. Just start from the high neck point and measure along with the neck shape. At the back, it is 3 1/8 inch. Then we have to measure the front neck also. 3 1/8 plus the front neck has to measure along with the neck shape. It is 8 1/8. So the totally half neck round is 8 1/8. So we have 1 inch extension for the placket, and the neck round of the back is 3 1/8, and the neckline of the front is 5 inches. Totally it is 8 1/8. Now we are going to draw the Mandarin collar. First draw a perpendicular line. Draw a perpendicular line. The width of collar. Width of the collar is 1 1/4 inch. Back neck 3 1/8. Front neck is 5 inch. Totally 8 1/8 is half neck. So first mark 1 1/4 inch.
and this is the center back. Now mark the back neck as 3 1/8 and then mark the front neck as 5 1/8. Draw a perpendicular line to this. Then, so we can name it as AB, C, D, then E. So AB is equal to collar width, BC is equal to half neck round, BD is equal to back neck, CE is equal to 1 inch. So AB collar width and BC is equal to half neck round. Now going to take the neck shape by connecting the D and E with a French curve. So this is going to be the neck base. So that the neck base is to be equal to the, extend the neck along with the curve. Now again you should mark the neck base measurement of 8 1/8 as an half neck. So 8 1/8 I am going to mark, start from it and pass the inch tape along with the curve and check, but it won't end at the exact line which we squared up, it will come little forward. So this is the center front neck point. Now draw the perpendicular line to the neck base at the point of center front neck, and this angle should be 90 degree. Then mark again the 1 1/4 inch from this, can be referred as F. FG is equal to again 1 1/4 and draw the parallel curve. So GH should also be 1 1/4, DH, not GH, DH, and draw a parallel line till H as straight line, then GH has a curve and extend the curve too. Now this extension should be the placket extension of the jacket, that is around 1 inch. So Fi is equal to 1 inch, GJ is equal to 1 inch. So we are connecting the placket extension, and this line is the center front line where the button is going to come at here. At the other side the buttonhole going to be there. If you want to have a straight line, we can bring little JK as 1/4 inch and draw a straight line. Otherwise you can give a curve also at the tip. So JK is 1/4 inch and take a straight line, connect K and I. If you want the square collar, you can take it IKG as the collar tip. If you want the curve line, you can connect from G to I as in figure. And always the grain line should be parallel to the neck base, and center back should be on fold. Okay, then allow the seam allowance. This is cut number 2. Allow the seam allowance of 3/8 of an inch.
all around. So draw the outline as a seam line with 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. So this is going to be the collar shape. So we need to cut 2 pieces, and if you want to get a stiff collar, again we should cut the fusing for the ready size to make the collar to stand up and also the clean finish. Now it's a Mandarin collar. Mandarin collar, cut piece of 2 with this seam, including seam allowance, and fusing piece need to be cut on the ready size. Now we are going to do the facing. The armhole can be finished with the facing for the front and the back. When it is a jacket, we should cut the sleeve and attach and finish the armhole. The sleeve can be a single piece sleeve or a 2-piece sleeve. So we are going to make the vest, so we are going to finish the armhole with the facing. First trace the back. Now we are going to take the armhole facing for the front and back to finish the armhole. When it is a waistcoat, Nehru waistcoat, the armhole has to be finished with the facing or with the lining. Even with the lining, the facing will be good and durable. First we have to trace the back armhole and take a facing, and then to the front armhole and draw the facing. If it is a Nehru jacket, we have to make the sleeve as a single piece sleeve or 2-piece sleeve. When the sleeve is attached, it is called as a jacket. When the sleeve is not attached, then it has been a waistcoat. So the waist has a deeper armhole. You should cut a facing and finish the armhole as neat. Now I am going to trace the outline and the stitching line together. The outline is the cutting line. I have to trace from the shoulder and the armhole, both stitching and cutting line. And also the side seam line and side seam stitching line to some extent. Then the shoulder line and the shoulder line cutting line to some extent. The same thing has to be done for the front armhole also. So the front is going to be placed trace the same at the front armhole also. the cutting line and also the stitching line or the ready line. We traced both the back armhole and the front armhole together. Now we should allow, I want 1 inch facing width. The facing width is equal to 1 inch. So this is the ready line. And this is the stitching line, cutting line. Side seam line on the stitching line. Now we should allow 1 inch from the ready line. This is the facing width. And draw, connect their points. So this is the facing width. And we should allow seam allowance for the first fold also. The 3/8 of an inch has to be allowed as seam allowance. And connect the points. So this is the front armhole facing. The grain line should be parallel to the center front, and you should cut 2 numbers. The same thing has to be done for the back armhole also. Draw the outline. With stitching line and cutting line of the back armhole. Now as the same, mark the facing width from the stitching line as 1 inch. and join the points. Mark the seam allowance 3/8 of an inch. So this is the side seam line. This is the shoulder. And again the grain line should be parallel to the center back. Named as back armhole facing. And the cut number 2. Now I am going to cut the collar and the armhole facing pieces. Cut the front armhole facing. So this is the armhole facing piece. We can cut and place on the fabric and place the outline, draw the outline and draw the inline also. We can directly trace the armhole with the pattern with the carbon paper from one layer to other layer also. So we are going to trace the fabric now. Trace the pattern into the fabric. Trace the Nehru vest, the back, front, collar and the armhole also. First, take the fabric and place the carbon sheet, and then you have to place the center back on fold. The fabric fold and the center back line has to get match. Place this by matching with the center back line, and then place the both pins in order to avoid the slippage. Trace the stitching line and the cutting line also. The center back is matching with the fold of the fabric. It's not necessary to trace, but start with the neckline, both the stitching line and the cutting line. trace the waistline notch and the across back notch. Release the pattern. Yeah, trace the back, then start cutting. Unfold the bottom line and then cut the side seam. Then the hem allowance at the bottom will be proper. So the back piece is totally cut ready. Now we are going to place the front. Now we are going to trace the front. The center front line should be parallel to the selvage, and place the yellow carbon sheet below that, and it should, the placement of yellow carbon should fit in the pattern, and always be sure that the grain line should be the center front line. Now we are going to trace again the cutting line and the stitching line in the front also. The stitching line should also be traced, and trace the waist notch and the bottom line. The hem line and the cutting line, you should cut, trace the placket end. This is for the, actually we left around 1 inch for the placket, and we should allow 1 centimeter or a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance for the placket stitching. We are going to attach a facing or a lining along with this line. We should allow 3/8 of an inch seam allowance at here, and draw the center front and trace the center front, and also the button position to it. Now we have to trace the button position. And also the pocket position. So we traced the cutting line 3/8 of an inch outside the placket extension, and then we traced the stitching line also. The stitching line also be traced. You have to trace the center front line also, then the button positions. Then we have to trace the chest pocket placement and the hip pocket placement. Now we can remove the pins. You can check all the patterns, all the outlines is being traced, including the waist. It has to get balanced by attaching on the waistline itself. So finish the stitching, cutting at the outline of the pattern. The front also be traced, and we can cut the facing also. Should draw the outline of the front and cut This is called front facing. We didn't make the pattern, but we are directly cutting in the fabric, and we should allow around 4 to 5 inches from this line, from the outline, and at the shoulder it can be 3 inches, and make and then cut this as a facing. This should set along with the front. This is called front facing. The front 2 pieces is cut ready, and then the facing is also be cut. The back front facing is ready. Now we have to cut the collar, armhole facing, collar and the armhole facing. First, yes, now we are going to cut the collar, the back armhole and the front armhole piece. The fabric is on fold, automatically we will get 2 pieces. So the grain line should be parallel to the selvage or to the fold. The grain line of the armhole should also be parallel, and the back armhole should also be parallel to the fold line or to the selvage. And you can pin it to avoid the slippage. You can fix the boat pin to avoid the slippage, then trace the outline and the stitching line with the tracing wheel. The same thing to be done for the back armhole also. Now release the pins and take the pattern out. You can see all the components has been traced. You can start cutting. Armhole facing. The back armhole. Now fold the back. Fold the back at the center back. And put the pins because back is on fold. Then cut the outline. So the front armhole, the back armhole, the collar is cut ready, and we should cut the pocket pieces also, as the straight piece of 6 inches and 6 inches with 3 or 2.5 inch width to make the welt pocket. The pocket bag is separate. We should cut the pocket ball also, can be on the shell fabric or on the lining fabric. And if you wanted to attach a lining should also be cut on the same size of the shell. The facing width has to be reduced from the front, and attach the front facing and the lining together, then start stitching. When they are being buttoned, the lining piece won't be visible to the right side. So we have to put a facing at the center front. And also, if the fabric is too thin, you can add the fusing for the vest. So the fusing has to be cut on the ready size, and the lining has to be cut on the production size, and the shell also be the same size. Yes. So we should first start to attach the facing to the center front. Right side face to face, the facing has to be fixed. And before that, it depends upon the fabric. When the fabric is very thin and silk kind of a fabric, the shell fabric has to be fused to get a little straight fall. So the fusing, lightweight fusing or medium weight fusing, can be fused along with the fabric to get the straight fall. Now we are going to attach the facing. Attach the facing as the seam line. Attach the facing with 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and it has to be straight. Follow the stitching line and pin it properly as on straight. So we pin the center front, and the facing has to be turned towards the wrong side. Crease it and then turn this towards the wrong side. So the center front will have a clean finish. So this is the center front. Both the front is being pinned, and this can be overlap for 2 inches to get. So the placket extension is 1 inch, so it should be overlapped by 2 inches. Now we are going to attach the back shoulder and the front shoulder together. Open the back. And attach the shoulder. If you want the slit at the center back, you may slit it, or before you may allow the allowance for the slit allowance at the center back. Okay, so the shoulder has to be attached by matching the seam. By right side face to face. We can attach like this also, or else if you attach and turned, the shoulder can be clean, or otherwise this can be creased for 3/8 of an inch and put on the front shoulder. Put it on the front shoulder by matching the stitching line and put the pins. We should have to check the shoulders should match. The shoulders are finished. The shoulders are finished. Now you should attach the armhole facing. You should have to pair the facing. This is the front armhole facing and this is the back armhole facing. The same thing. The front armhole facing and the back armhole facing should be like this. We have paired it. Then we should take this and attach the facing by right side face to face. Then open the armhole. The facing of back should match with the back. Press open it. Match the front armhole along with the front armhole and match the back armhole along with the back armhole to finish the armhole. We are attaching facing. The seam of the facing at shoulder and the shoulder, body shoulder has to match, and make the seam press open on both the sides. The facing shoulder and the body shoulder has to be press opened and attach the facing.
pin the armhole, and then to get a proper turning we need to clip the seam allowance till the stitching line, not to cut the stitch line, till the stitching line. Wherever the deeper curve, the slash and the clipping should be nearer, and wherever the straight line, the clipping can be far away, and it should not cut the stitching line, but it should cut little away. And do the top stitch or something, crease it well. Then you can turn it to the wrong side, then finish this, take it to the wrong side, you can able to understand the clipping may give a proper result to make the turn as on curve. Then we allowed 1 centimeter extra at here, that has to be 1 centimeter or 3/8 of an inch has been allowed other side, that has to be folded and creased, and then you have to do the hemming or the other side raw edge will also be covered by finishing the armhole with facing. Turn it and do the proper iron, then you may understand that it may be in the uniform width. It should be in a uniform width from the starting point to the ending point, because we left the allowance as 1 inch as the facing width. As the same on the front side also. The front armhole is also be creased and pressed neatly with a uniform width of a facing, and do the proper iron to it. Each and every operation has to be ironed and checked, then only the drape and the finish will be perfect. So the armhole is finished with the facing. Now we have to join the side seam. The shoulder is creased and finished. Then we should join the side seam. Crease the back seam allowance and try to match with the other side. The impression has been there of the notch impression, waistline notch impression. So we have to match. So this is the notch impression, and we have to match this notch and this point as first, because this is the horizontal balance notch, and then attach the side seam. And at the deeper curve, we should make a clip on the deeper curve. So the side seam has been pinned. Do the same thing in the other side also.
Be sure that the seam line has to be matched perfectly. Otherwise the curve won't form on its way. So the side seam is pinned, the shoulder is attached, and the front placket is also ready. The armhole facing has to be done as the same, and we should do the hemline. Hem allowance is being given with 1.5 inch. So you should fold the 1.5 inch. And you can have around 1 inch as the hemline. So yeah, the hem first fold and the second fold has been happened to give the 1 inch ready hem width. You should iron it and crease it the required width of the hem allowance and do the hem finish. The slit can be closed with a facing, or the allowance can be allowed while developing the pattern itself, or else when you are stitching with the lining you can stitch it and close. So the hem is finished. If you wanted to have the slit can be closed first, either with the lining or with the cell extension, and the hem is being finished, and we have to attach the collar alone. So the placket extension is around 2 inch. The placket width is 2 inch. The extension is 1 inch on both the sides. So now we have to finish the collar. Collar is being cut to. Now we are going to stitch and turn the collar as on its shape. And in order to have the shape properly, do the clipping, the curve. As said before, it should not be cut beyond the stitch. It should be before the stitch, and try to turn it out to the right side. You should have to check the shape also on both the sides. It should be proper. Now we made the collar. The collar has to be attached along with the neck round. Mark the mid. And the shoulder point also. Shoulder point is around 3/8 of an inch. Not 3/8, 3 1/8 is the shoulder point measurement. Make a clip. Now start to attach the collar. Attach the collar. Collar attachment is different, but the test fit we are doing it as this, and the shoulder has to match with the shoulder point. and the neckline. Should match along with the neckline. There should not be any pull or push on the collar because later it won't be balanced, and the center back has to be attached with the center back. You can check the collar measure size and the measurement as exactly fitting because we already done the collar as per the measurement of the neck round of whatever the pattern we did. The pattern neckline is being carried to develop the collar, so the fit of the collar will be perfect. Again, you should match the shoulder onto the shoulder. And one more thing, we should follow the seam allowance properly, otherwise either the neck or the collar will be more than the pull and push and excess and bowing would have been happened. Again, start from the center front. So, the collar is attached. Now, the center front is perfectly matching and the collar is done. Now the waist is complete as a narrow waistcoat. Now the Nehru jacket is completely finished. It has the placket width is 2 inch and the collar band is 1 1/4 inch around the neckline. It's sitting perfectly along with the neckline, and the armhole has been finished with the facing at both the sides, and the back, the hemline is being done with 1 inch hemline, and the back this is a straight fit for a little bit of a semi fit. If you wanted to take your close fit, either you can take a shape at the center back or you can take dots on both the side. So this jacket gives a semi fit because we used to wear this on top of the jubba or kurta, men's kurta. So kurta is a garment already bit of a loose. So this can be worn without the dot with minimum ease. When you wanted to wear on a shavani or something which has the fitted on the first garment, this garment can also be designed with both the dots at both the side, or else center back shape as a spinal shape as per the jacket. So it gives the proper fit. And when we are assembling the armhole, we have to check the front armhole and back armhole should have the difference. When you are opening, it should have a 90-degree line at here. All the adjoining should have 90-degree then only the fit will be perfect. Now we can check the test fit on the dress, on the human figure, because this is for size 38, which is made for the 38 size figure. This is the Nehru waistcoat. We finished the jacket. So the center front placket with a 2-inch placket width, and it has 4 buttons and 1 collar button. Totally 5 buttons are there, and the placket width is 2-inch, and the shoulder is fitting properly, and the armhole is going along with the armhole, and the armhole has 1 inch, 1 to 1 1/4 inch loose from the first garment. The shirt has already 1 inch. The waist should have a deeper armhole by 1 inch or 1 1/4 inch below the first garment, and the armhole has to travel as a curve very smoothly and gently. The side has a shape as per the body shape. So the shoulder can be exact with the shoulders, and the shoulder seam can have a space over there. And at the back also, you can verify that the fit should be very straight fit, and we can, if you want, you can have a slit at the back also, and the collar is exactly sitting at the neck base, and it provides a comfort fit, and it has the loose as 1 inch extra at the sides. So it has the comfortability, and also it has the ease to wear the first garment also and the second garment also. The neckline is exactly sitting on the neckline. The armhole curve is also perfect, and the hemline has to be balanced from the floor level. The front level and the side level and the back level should be equal. The garment balancing is very important, that the length has to be parallel to the floor, and the facing is being done at the center. If you want a straight fit, that can be done with the fusing also. So it gives a proper fit, and if you want to do the design of a pocket of welt and other thing, then you can design accordingly.